All right, hey everybody. Really quickly, I just want to make a video talking you through your homework for the next week. So this is due on Friday, right? So you have two things. One, this Beethoven secondary dominant analysis or redux, thinking and listening, right? So as with all of chromaticism for sure, but really just any of this music that we're talking about in class, make sure you listen to it, right? There's a lot of really good stuff happening, and we don't have enough time to listen to bad music, if that's a better way of putting it. Though I guess I should say with the caveat that I made you listen to Styx last week, so I guess maybe don't take that entirely seriously, but we will largely listen to very good music. So you should listen to it, check it out. So with that in mind, you have these links, right? Make sure you click and listen because it's going to change how you hear it and how you analyze it. So after listening, how often do you hear a chord change? And a big part of this assignment is trying to figure out the segmentation. We'll talk about that on the next page, but I want you to put a blank under each time that you hear the harmony shift. Okay, so I'm going to stop always putting in the little lines for your Roman numerals here. And you have to rely on your ear. That's very difficult to do if you don't listen. Okay, so make sure you go and you listen. The other thing I wanted to point out is analyze this in the key of C. Okay, you should have many secondary dominants. I footnote that with several because that's a semantic thing, but you should have some secondary dominants. You're going to have some accidentals in here. On the next page, and there are 2 pages for this one, another one. This is some Schumann here. Again, I want you to listen to it to figure out the segmentation. And that's what I explain at the bottom here. You're going to draw a line under each chord in your blank and analyze the harmony that you're hearing. Meta note, it's an incredibly important skill called segmentation. You're breaking up the music and telling me exactly what you're hearing and trying to objectify what's happening orally. And this is the beginning of a really big concept for you guys as musicians to be able to do that accurately, fluently, sort of quote unquote effortlessly, intuitively, to just look down at the music and hear it and be able to dissect, where things are happening. We're starting that. It's a slow process, so don't get intimidated, but I want you to start thinking about it. I will, however, give you 2 options for this one because it is a little bit opaque. It's a good word. And I often do this for your homework, right? I give you homework that's not necessarily super clear because I want you to spend some time thinking about it. And for this one, it's theoretically possible to hear this music as 1 chord per bar or chord. So chords on beat 1 and beat 4 or chords on the entire bar. You can try to hear it both ways, and I want you to try to write what you hear. Okay, so there's more than one answer that's theoretically possible. It could also theoretically change, though that gets into a larger issue here where, and we'll talk about this maybe in other lectures about wanting to have patterns. And I think I've said this, in other classes if you've had them with me, that, you sort of want to establish harmonic patterns and meet those expectations across the piece. So if you do hear the harmonic rhythm changing, that's okay. Just sort of step back and look at it and make sure that's exactly what you're hearing. Cool. The other thing you have is a much more objective homework. So this is out of the workbook. And as I say on the Shobi assignment, if you go and look at it, this is just my scan of it. So if you have the workbook already, you don't have to, use this one and print it out or anything. Just do your work in the workbook and then, scan that in and upload it. This is just in case you don't have it or you want to do it entirely digitally. So this is your workbook, and what I want you to do is 20.11 and 20.12. And notice you're going to be able to flip through here. There's more sections. Notably, there's a backside to 20.12, right? It keeps going. You can ignore 20.13, so you don't need to do this. And then 20.2, I want you to do 1 and 2. And at least for now, we're going to ignore this one. And we'll talk about this more. Because this is a really interesting concept. This is resolving secondary dominants to 5/7. And if you watch the second chromaticism video, I actually talked about this. This is where the rule breaks. That's sort of like, oh my gosh, you don't resolve leading tones up all the time. It's like you actually just resolve them as smoothly as possible, and the only smooth possible option is to break a rule. So we'll talk about this more, and then maybe we'll come back to this and I'll assign this on a different homework. But yeah, that's it. Just looking at this one really quickly, right? Zooming in the thought process. We'll do one together here. You're in the key of E. You have to provide a key signature. This is very important because you want to provide the key signature and then have the key signature lie to you, which is kind of funny, but it's important to be able to think like this. So fat cats go down. There's your key signature of E, but this is not actually in E, right? This is in the key of whatever is under the slash. So you want to think, okay, we're writing the 5/7 of the 5 in E. So you're thinking, what is 5 in the key of E, right? You're thinking E, F, G, A, B, right? Okay, so we're in the key of B. We're writing the 5 in B. So in B now, what is the 5? Well, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. That's the chord we're writing. You're writing a chord built on F sharp, right? And then you're thinking, I'm spelling this. It's almost like I'm spelling the 5/7 in B. Or you can think like, okay, well, maybe this was lying to us. We're just doing this assignment. We're saying 5/7 in B. That's kind of what you're writing, except for you're writing it in the key of E, if that makes sense. That's the chromatic part of it. Okay, so what would that look like? Get my mess out of here. Well, it'd be F sharp, which I wrote the F sharp in like that. You don't have to because it's already in the key signature, right? If you do write in the courtesy accidental, that's fine. I'll leave it out just because it's a little cleaner. So you have F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. Okay, so F sharp, A, C sharp, E, right? This is what you would probably say in class. And I would say, okay, cool. That's a 2/7 chord, which is literally what that is, right? That's a diatonic chord because you need an accidental, right? In fact, for now, there will be some chromatic chords where this is not true. But for now, since these are all 5s of 5s, right? Every single one of them will have an accidental. There's one instance where it technically appears as if it does not. So every one of these will have an accidental. And you want to think, well, this is a 5/7 in the key of B. This chord right here needs to fit into the key of B major, right? Well, what's the key signature for B major? It's fat cats go down alleys. The A needs to be sharp. And that's it. Every one of these, when you're getting ready to turn these in, right? Just kind of step back and look. They should have accidentals. In fact, if they don't, it's just, I know it's wrong. Can't possibly be right, okay? So lots of details, providing the key signatures here, right? Make sure you have those written in for all of them, and then adjust the chords, add the accidentals, and let me know if you have questions.